Greetings, greetings, greetings. How y'all doing? Welcome to Sunday. Hold on for a second. Oh, I thought I could pause it, but I guess I could not. I had this brilliant idea that I was just going to pause this video, do all my sharing, and then come back like I had not gone anywhere to do any sharing. Didn't work out that way. Did not work out that way. How y'all doing? How is everyone's day? How y'all doing right now? How y'all doing? Hi, Nikki. Thank you very much for joining. Hi, Carlo. I typically take a few minutes before getting into the message to share the video to a few places. You guys are welcome to share as well. It always helps me out when you do. Hey, Gerald. Hi, Angelo. Thank you very much for joining. We got some good stuff to chat about today. And yes, it's my birthday. Y'all, let me tell y'all something. I really wanted a a tiara. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? I mean like a crown, like a big crown that I could sit on my head and prance. Just kind of primp a little bit. Just primp. Like, yes, it's my birthday and it's my birthday and so I want to hey Joe, thank you so much. Thank you. Yes. You know, this is the first time, thank you, Carlo. I had a realization and a revelation recently, very recently, that prior to now, I've never celebrated my birthday. Sure, you know, I've said it's my birthday, and sure, people have said, hey, happy birthday, and all those kinds of things. All of that has happened. So I don't mean I've never acknowledged my birthday, but I've never celebrated my birthday. So this year, excuse me, hi Lamar, thank you for joining. This year is the first time that I'm like celebrating my birthday, and you guys are have the privilege of joining me while I do it. I'm super excited. It's not even like this is greetings to you, sir. It's not even like this is like a landmark birthday. This is not like my 50th or anything like that. My 50th is gonna be a big, giant, huge shebang. So you better get ready for it. If you as my friend, do expect that I do expect your attendance. I do expect, excuse me, that you are going to make a big, huge deal about it. I do expect that you are going to be in place and that you are going to help me make it a special one, whatever it is. Hey, Alfredo, thank you so much for joining. I always appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much for joining. Let's see. Okay, so I've shared here. Now I'm sharing over here. I don't know why I act like I don't know how to. I do this every week, and it's like it's brand new. Like every week, I'm doing it for the first time. So y'all bear with me. Go ahead and invite some friends. Tell some people to come on through. Come holler at your girl. Come celebrate my birthday with me. I think I got some good stuff. I think y'all gonna like what we have to talk about today. And plus, I have some really big announcements that I want to share with everybody. So yeah, y'all go ahead and do that. I also want to give a special acknowledgement. I don't even know what the appropriate greeting, salutation, notification. I don't even know what it is. But one of my church brothers from many years ago, we all have remained, thank God for social media, we all have remained connected to each other. And I remember this brother and his family because they were very young. Well, maybe about the same age as me. I think she is younger than him, and that's why they seem very young to me. And they had a really big family, a lot of children. And when I tell you this brother would be like on the floor worshiping the Lord in, faithful, showing up, doing whatever is asked of him, like everything. I saw him. He did I think it was Instagram. I think he was on Instagram when I saw it. He did a tribute. He was talking about how difficult his life had been and how his father had not been in his life. And he gave like a really short Cliff Notes version of, look, I had a rough childhood. My daddy wasn't very nice to me. I became a man. I got my own family, and I learned how to forgive, and I forgave my father. And it's a video of him feeding his dad, like helping his father. And the next day, this same brother, like it's killing me to even say this. But the next day, this brother came on and said, I need y'all prayers because one of his children had been shot. And this happened in Miami. And he wasn't sure he was going to survive. And indeed, the young man did not survive. So Free and Lourdes, I'm thinking about y'all. I'm thinking about y'all. And I can't even imagine what y'all going through. But I do know that all is well. And it'll always be well. I don't know how you go past this, but I'm sure that there is light somewhere. So my heart is with you guys. Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to say that publicly. I wanted to acknowledge that. That's a pretty big deal. That's a pretty big deal. So anyway, back on. I love you guys. I love y'all. So anyway, back on to what I want to talk to y'all about today, right? So let's talk about it. So of course, I said of course. Anyway, y'all gotta watch out for me because sometimes I be tripping. Sometimes I be straight tripping. But anyway, of course, I am your host. I am Celebrity Mary, and this is Manifest Destinies. So this is the Manifest Destiny show. It's a different kind of Bible study. I'm leading with love. I'm governed by peace here on this show. And I'm here each and every Sunday at 11 o'clock. We rebroadcast at 6 p.m. on Sundays. And again on Thursdays at 12 p.m. So these are all Eastern times. I need y'all to give me some feedback. Let me know if I'm hitting all the marks that you want me to hit. And let me know if there's something else that you want me to talk about in the coming weeks. Make sure you stick around to the end for some exciting announcements about business credit and other juicy releases that we have coming up in the month of January 2019. Now, I have to give y'all my caveats, my warnings, and my disclaimers. The first thing is I do not want you to assume that just because you haven't heard this thing here before, that it's wrong or that I'm lying. The opinions that I express are mine and mine alone. They're not necessarily those of the show and any speakers that I bring on. Any opinions that they express, those are their opinions. And all advice is given based on personal experience and independent research by whichever speaker is speaking. So engage at your own risk. So those are my disclaimers, okay? Those are my disclaimers. The title of today's show is, What Does God Have to Say About Money? Now, we done had this conversation a few times in a number of different ways. But one of the things that what I want to make sure that I'm getting across to you is that money is an important subject to God. How do I know? How do I know? You know how I know. It's because of all the things mentioned in the Bible, the only thing that's mentioned more than money in the Bible is God. So that suggests to me that this is a pretty big deal to God. I mean, why would that be the thing that the one who has the most space in the Bible, the one who wrote the Bible, the one who inspired the Bible, why would it be the thing that one talks about the most if it's not a really important topic? So that suggested to me that there's quite a bit of weight, a lot of weight with attached to money. Now listen, here in the United States, we know, and I reiterate this every week because I want everybody to get this in your heart, get this in your mind, get this in your spirit. The reason that you see a whole lot of what you see that you don't like out here in this world is mostly economic. Most crimes, for instance, are committed for economic reasons, even if it's not an economic crime, right? Even if it's not an economic crime, you see people in abusive relationships a lot of times, one of the primary factors in the abuse is related to finances. It's related to money, whether it's a woman or a man staying in an abusive relationship because they feel like they don't have the money to go anyplace else. Or you might see a situation where, one of the lovers in the lovership is using money as a battering ram against the other one. They're using it as a carrot and a stick against the other person. Those are economic crimes. Those things happen, even though they're not qualified like that, even though they're not described in that way. So and the reason that people feel this way, the reason that these feelings are able to perpetuate in this environment is because there are imbalances, inequities in our money distribution system here, and not just here in the world. I mean, not just here in the United States, but worldwide. There are some economic imbalances. There are excuse me, there are a lot of imbalances. And this is why you do see certain things happening. Also, one of the biggest imbalances, I'm gonna talk about the financial piece, like the real tangible piece. But one of the biggest imbalances is that it's less an imbalance than a reversal. We have been taught in our culture and in our society that the value is in the money and not in the people. We've been taught that, and we perpetuate that. We share that with our children. We teach that to our children. We teach that to our family members. We teach that to those who we love and to those who love us. We give that same miseducation to people that we care about because we just don't know any better. We were born into a system that said the value is in money, right? We were born into that system. We didn't ask for it. We didn't demand it. We didn't set it up. It was here when we got here. We came to Earth and there was already a system in place. There were already people here and they were already doing it this way. And so they taught us what they knew. So, I don't think, especially not like our caregivers and those who raised us, and I don't think those people had in their minds, let me mess them up, right? I'm pretty sure they weren't thinking that. In fact, I'm certain that the people who we came into this world to be with, our family members and those who, cared for us and raised us and all of that, I'm sure they wanted the best things and better things for us. But they came into this system and this is what they knew. So this is what they taught us. So this is what we got now. Great rising, DeMarquise. Thank you very much for joining. Hey, Shayelle. Hey, Monica. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for joining. Hey, Gerald and Lamar. I don't know if I said hi to y'all. I think I did, but I'm done sharing now. So now I can actually turn my face to the camera and pay attention to what it is that I'm doing. So that reversal, that miseducation, that being taught that the value is that there is no inherent value in you. The inherent value, inherent meaning coming from within, like it's just valuable by default. That is actually us. We're the ones. There is nothing more valuable or abundant in this world than energy. Energy is our literal lifeblood. Energy is who we are. It's how we move, is why we move. Energy is God. God is energy. That's what spirit is, right? So there's nothing more valuable or more available or abundant or applicable or omniscient. I mean, omniscient and omnipresent and omnipotent than energy. Energy, real energy. Energy is that's the animating force in our lives, right? There's nothing more valuable than that. Yet we have taken the real value, which is us, because we come into this world with energy. We are the energy. We come into this world as energy. And we have taken that worth and applied it to inanimate objects like money. So that's another reason that we see some of this stuff. So the imbalance is able to occur because of the reversal. Hey, Nicole, thank you so much for joining. And thank you, dear. Yes, it is my birthday. We have applied that which is valuable, or assigned that which is valuable to something that's inanimate and really has no value of its own, only the value that we assign to it. So because of that, because of this reversal, we have these inequities and imbalances, such as, the four classes of workers, the people who get money in this world. There's the poor, the working class, the wealthy, and the elite. I'm only going to talk about the wealthy and the elite. And the reason that I'm talking about the wealthy and the elite is because that's the aspiration. That's where we want to go. We are the wealthy and the elite, but we don't know it. We keep letting ourselves be categorized and put into working class and poor, and we're not. We're the wealthy and the elite. We just have to begin to operate like the wealthy and the elite. Do you know that there are children who are being born right now that will never, ever, ever have to complete a job application or work for a living? And then there are children being born right now who will only work for a living. What situation would you like for your child? What situation do you intend to leave for your child? There are people who are alive right now today who've never had to complete a job application. You could probably name about 6, 7 of them right now, because we see them on TV all the time. A lot of them being indicted right now, but that's another story for another day. But if you look around your life, you will probably find that there are a whole lot of people who have to work for a living, or so they believe. Here's the thing: you're already alive. You are already living. Newsflash. So you don't have to work for a living or earn it. You do have to attract certain things into your life so that you can live the abundant life that was called for. The Bible says, beloved, I would that you would have life, and that more abundantly. Y'all know how this go. Y'all know. You listen. If you stopped here because you know that we talking about God and we talking about the Bible. Now, if you don't believe in the Bible, that's cool. I understand, because I recognize that there's some challenges in some areas, namely with the translations, namely with where it comes from, namely with who did what and why, right? They like straight Cardi B on it. Who gonna do what to who? Well, let's find out and see, right? You know where I'm at. You know where I be. This is one of the reasons that I made that caveat earlier. Just because you hear something that's new to your ears doesn't mean that it's wrong. Hopefully, I will me saying some of the stuff that I say today will challenge you. In fact, I challenge you outright to check me down the road. Verify everything that I'm saying. Don't just listen to what I'm saying. Verify everything that I'm saying. Prove me wrong if you can. Be a scientist about it. Okay. Anyway, let's go back to what we was talking about with these inequities and imbalances. Race in this country, race in this world is a major factor to these inequities and imbalances, and it's probably a primary driver. It is very difficult for certain races of people, certain people groups within the United States of America, within the global society, to obtain and maintain wealth once they get it. Mostly because of a lack of education. The Bible says that my people perish for a lack of knowledge, yet have they rejected the knowledge. When the knowledge comes, people be like, I don't want to hear that. If you don't believe me, let me tell you something. If I don't tell you where in the Bible to find something, all you got to do is go on your phone and say, Siri, my people perish for a lack of knowledge, yet have you rejected the knowledge. Or just my people perish for a lack of knowledge. It'll pull up the whole verse for you. You ain't got to take my word for it. You can, once you pull it up there, then go get your own Bible, the one you study out of. Go get your grandmama Bible, the one that she's had since you was a little old boy, a little old girl, right? Go to the library. Go and find this in other places. Go and find out. Do your own research. Take responsibility for yourself and for your legacy, because you're going to leave one. You are going to leave a legacy. Everybody who came into this world is going to check out this joint. And everybody who check out is going to leave a mark of some kind. You just got to decide what kind of mark you want to leave on this world. Now, listen, let me tell you another thing about this inequity and stuff. So right now, we are what's known as a majority society, meaning that the alleged majority is the majority by numbers and by wealth and a whole lot of other measurements and factors, right? But it's expected that by 2050, this is going to be what's known as a majority minority society, meaning that brown people, black and brown people, will outrank or there will be more of us than non-black and white, non-black and Latino families. And during that time, around that same time, it is projected and anticipated that those same black and brown families will have a net worth or wealth of zero by 2050. But white families, who will be the minority at that point, will still have six figures of wealth in their homes. We talked about that big wealth gap last week. If you don't believe me, go back and look at that broadcast that I did last week that was called "Solving Real Problems: the worst thing a Christian can do, or the worst thing Christians can do." And if you recall, what I said back then is the worst thing you can do as a Christian is be broke. You can't do nothing for nobody if you broke. And if you are supposed to be shedding love abroad, if you supposed to be going out to the hedges and highways preaching the gospel, how you gonna do that with no resources? Jesus was not poor. Don't bring me that foolishness. All you got to do is look in your Bible. It's right there. Jesus was not poor. When he was born, he received gifts because they understood. He got endowments of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. What do you think his parents did with that? I'm just curious. I'm just curious. What do you think Jesus's parents, baby Jesus, little old baby in the manger, sweet little baby Jesus, what you think his parents did with the frankincense, gold, and myrrh that he received as a gift, as a tribute, because a king was born? What do you think his parents did with his wealth? It's the truth, Nicole. It's the truth. So that's, like I said, I challenge people. Don't just listen to me and don't be arguing with the screen. You on the computer. Just hit up Google. Leave me playing in the background. Write it down, take some notes, come back later, look at it again. I'm just saying, I wouldn't tell you nothing that wasn't true. I can't be on the internet lying and stuff. Come on now. Y'all know how you do. Y'all know how your girl do. So listen. So that's that projection that I just gave about that zero wealth. Let me tell you where that's coming from. Or not where it's coming from specifically, but let me give you an idea of how these kinds of trends and projections come about. Back in 2008, everybody knows the market tanked, right? All the markets tanked. There's not just one big market that tanks. All of the markets tanked, right? The housing market, it was a bubble and it broke. The stock market basically crashed. They don't say it crashed. They didn't call it a depression. They said it was a recession. It was a great recession. It was almost a depression, but not quite. Not quite. Just a recession, just a pullback, right? But when that happened, huge banks that had been around for hundreds of years or about 100 years folded. They folded and they collapsed in under their own weight, right? Banks that you never would have thought would go out of business went out of business. Other banks got money from the government in order to save other banks. Right, so all this maneuvering going on in other countries. Remember pigs. Remember Portugal, Italy, Greece, and Spain. Remember pigs. Remember in Greece they had a run on the banks, and people was going over there like, "Give me my money. I want my money out the bank." And they started going, "Hold on, homeboy, you can't get your money out the bank. You can only get this amount out the bank because we ain't got no more money." Then they started doing all that austerity stuff where they was cutting social programs and rationing out to people. Y'all remember all that? Because it just happened 10 years ago. It just happened in 2008. You can't have forgotten already. All of y'all is old enough to remember when that happened. So when all that was going on in the world, let me tell you what happened to black and brown people. Well, black people specifically, let me tell you what happened right here in the United States. 95%, 95% of black wealth was lost during that downturn, during that recession. 95%. What is you talking about, Mary? Oh, Mary, I sounded like one of my older cousins of my grandma, Mary. What is you talking about? 58% of black wealth was lost during the housing crisis because where did most black people have their wealth? In their homes. They lost their homes. Their mortgages got foreclosed and the banks took their property. So they lost their homes, they lost their land, they lost their equity, because a lot of people, I don't know if y'all know this, but if you end up losing, if you end up going through a foreclosure process, if you end up going through foreclosure, the bank can't have the house and the equity. They can't take your money and your house. So my strong recommendation, my great urging, is if you went through that and the statute of limitations has not run out, I believe the bank might owe you some money. I think you need to go ahead and check into that. They can't take the house and the equity, but people walked away. I only learned that last year. I didn't lose my house in 2008, but that information came to me last year. I'm sharing it with you right now because some of y'all have a debt out there hanging out there that's owed to you, that is just quietly waiting on you to make a move, to make a decision about what you want to do. And really, all you got to do is make a decision in your life that you want to have something, and things will just start showing up. The universe will begin to yield to you and just give to you that which you're seeking. They can't take your money and your house. So look into that. So 58% of Black wealth was lost due to the housing crisis because most Black wealth was tied up in their homes, which had mortgages on it, right? And I'm saying it that way because that's exactly how it is. Your mortgage, the bank does not own your house. Let's just sit there for a second. I know I got somewhere to go. I got a good 30-some minutes. The bank does not own your house. Let's just be real clear about what happens. When you sit down at the closing table to close on your home, a couple things happen. The owner of the home receives, the person from whom you're purchasing the home, they receive a check for the full amount of the property. Now, if they owe a bank or whatever, then that bank, of course, this is all done on paper. this is my Cliff Notes version. The HUD-1 outlines, if you read it, it shows you it line by line, literally line by line, each person who is being paid or offered this transaction, everybody who's getting money. So if the person who's selling you the house is selling you a house that they own free and clear, and they have paid the taxes, then they already paid the taxes for that year, then they're getting 100% of the proceeds, right? Minus what, of course, any realtor commissions and all that stuff, right? So they getting their money. Everybody who had anything to do with the house that was being sold, they're getting their money. You are getting the keys and the deed to a house. And when you sign the rest of those millions of papers that they put in front of you, and you just sign it, you wish you had a robo arm so you could just sign all this stuff one time and be done with it. No, you don't. But you wish you do, because your arm hurting because you're doing all this signing. When you're doing that, what you're doing is saying to the bank, who gave you nothing, because remember, the bank gave a check to the owners. That's to the people who had the house, the previous owner. When you do all this signing, what you do is you give to the bank permission to take the house from you if you don't make good on repaying them the money that they gave to these people. You see how that goes? See how my arms are going? See how I'm all crossed? That's what happened. Notice how ain't none of them pointing back at you. The bank gave you nothing. But you allow the bank to put a lien on your property. That's the mortgage. And the mortgage itself, paper has a life. And the mortgage itself means that this lien is in effect until this contract has been performed, until everything has been satisfied. Every condition has been met. And then the bank, they don't give you the deed to your house. That's always at the county. It's always there. What they give you is a free and clear offer. They take their they release the lien. They say, hey, this lien is satisfied. This person no longer owes us any money. That's what happens. The bank never owns your house. They never own your house. And if you want to understand some more about how to deal with mortgages like that, I'm gonna refer y'all to my girl Regina Littles. Because Regina, if you are wanting to purchase a home in 2019, Regina is the person to talk to for that. If I had her phone number handy, and I might be able to find it real quick and give it to you, but Regina is who you want to talk to about that. If you want to buy a house, you want to go to Regina, right? Her phone number, I found it. 321 is the area code, 287-0986. Regina Littles. Look her up on Facebook. You will not regret it. Now that's Gina. That's what Gina do. I wasn't planning to do that. She don't know I did that. Do tell her though that I let y'all know. She's the one to talk to if you really want to understand how that mortgage credit stuff work, how all that go down. If you want to get a house, she won't help you do that over and meet underwriting and have everything you need as long as you follow the lady's instructions. All right. So 58% of black wealth was lost due to the housing crisis back in 2008, because that's what most of the black wealth was. The other 37% was lost due to drums, please, stock market. Black people weren't investing in the stock market like gangbusters. That's not what they was doing. You know what they was doing? They was signing up for 401k at their jobs. And when the stock markets crash, the black wealth, 37%, went right along with it. Because that is the extent to which most black people are taught about the stock market. They learn about mutual funds. They look at their statements. They don't know what they're looking at. They see small cap, mid cap. They don't know low cap, high cap. They don't know what any of that means. They don't know what's in there. They see certain names and they see a little percentage, and they see a few dollars on this side. But it doesn't, it's boring. And no one has taken the time. I'm not going to say no one has taught, but I am going to say no one has taken the time to learn what each of those things mean, line by line. So when it comes time, in fact, let me say it this way. If you understood what your 401k was and how it's working, as a wealth vehicle or as an investment vehicle, you would get the fuck out of it. You just would. And I know people be talking about, well, you leaving money on the table because your company is gonna match your okay, all right, fine, you do that. That's for lazy people who do not want to accept responsibility for themselves, who don't mind being the 37% that lose all their wealth as soon as the market turns. Y'all do know that the market is cyclical, right? It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. You can look at the market, you can look at charts every day, and you will see the same thing. It can only go in two directions, and it does it every single day. So, and when something crazy happens, it can go down so much that it will take all the little bit of money that you have saved up. You could have 6 figures sitting in your 401k. I told y'all the story of the lady that I drove in my limousine, lost 75% of her wealth, when the stock market crashed, because she had her money in with a hedge fund manager at the time. I believe it was a hedge fund manager, and that person was more I don't remember exactly which. Yeah, it was a hedge fund. But it wasn't a hedge fund. It was she had another broker. She had another kind of investment broker. It was not a hedge fund. But anyway, people lost her 75% of her money. And she's a widow at that point. She's got her young son that she's raising, and she was like, forget that, give me my money. She took her money from wherever it was, put it into an electronically traded fund, and she ETF'd it to another kind of fund. And she began to trade her money herself. She began to invest her money herself, and was able to recover all of her wealth within about 2 or 3 years. But she had to take control of her finances. Now, the other thing that to note, so that's enough about that. I spent way more time on that than I planned to, because I think it is important to get this information out. And this is why I do this. This is why on my birthday, I'm sitting here wearing my birthday tiara and talking to y'all. My husband made me eggs for breakfast. I love him so much. He's so sweet. But we could have been at brunch. Oh, y'all, look, he brought me a watch for my birthday. I forgot to show y'all. I don't know if you can see it, but that's my birthday gift. I got a watch. Y'all don't see me wearing watches very often, but he bought me a watch, and I like it. It's very pretty. But anyway, the other reason that you see these imbalances and inequities is, at this point, the way that we earn money has changed. We're now in what's known as a post-employment and sharing economy. That's where we are. That's right, DeMarquise. I'm dropping that. Yes, honey. Yes. This is a post-employment market. This is how people get money. We live in a sharing economy. Everybody knows about Airbnb, Lyft, Uber, FlexDrive, Turo. About my God, Zipcar, them little scooters. Even the cities are in on them little scooters you get on and you ride around the city. You just drop them bad boys off someplace. This is how we make money. Is so different. Dr. Don did a live 3, 4, maybe 5 nights ago. On Wednesday, Wealth Wednesday. She did a live on Wealth Wednesday. And that lady gave 10. She was supposed to give 7, but I'm holding my fingers up spread wide so you can see she gave 10 different ways that you can make money without having any money in your pocket. She showed you 10 different ways. She's just rattling them off the top of her head. Of course, I wrote them all down. I got them right here. And no, I'm not giving them to you. You're going to have to go back and look at her Wealth Wednesday broadcast to see what they are. But I can tell you this is what I will tell you. If you have any one of these jobs that I'm about to name right now, you best to be figuring out some other ways to make you some money. You ready? Okay, bet. Drivers, like limousine, bus, that kind of stuff. Truckers, all right? Drivers, roofers, accountants, paralegals, line cooks. Do you know they got machines and cashiers in certain restaurants that will take your order? You go to a kiosk, you put in your order, and another machine will receive the order and do all of the cooking and preparing and packaging and putting together and putting over here. And then it'll send that to another machine that will bring the food out to you right after you have paid the cashier, who is also a machine. Credit analyst, that's me. Why you think I'm doing so much more of this stuff that I'm doing? Loan officers, people sitting in the bank. Y'all seen Rocket Mortgage? You can get your mortgage approved. You can get approved for a mortgage in 8 minutes using Rocket Lawyer. That's not a plug for them. That's showing you that they don't even need loan officers anymore. They don't have humans looking at your application anymore. They don't have people meeting you and realizing, okay, and using what we have, judgment. It's just numbers on a page. It's an algorithm. And if it don't match, you ain't getting no loan. Telemarketers, you already getting robocalls. They already been happening. They don't have people. People don't like being hung up on and cussed out. They don't like being hung up on and cussed out. So telemarketers. So if you're a driver, roofer, accountant, paralegal, line cook, cashier, credit analyst, loan officer, or telemarketer, you need to be figuring out a few of them 10 ways to get you some money that don't require you to be involved with this line of work anymore, because they gone. Them things about to be out of here. Finally, millennials and their parents, the Gen Xers, are the new illiterate. These are the people who are the least willing of all generations to unlearn and relearn new information. Y'all are the people that I have to say, and I have to put it in my caveat and say, listen, just because you've not ever heard this before doesn't mean that I'm lying or that it's not right. Don't make assumptions. Check it out for yourself. These people are like, this is how it's always been. This is how it's always going to be. Millennials, y'all are the sickest of the sick right now for me. Y'all on my damn nerves, and I'm going to tell you why. Y'all Negroes were born with the internet already. This was not something you had to learn. So most children, all children, we have these things in our brains called mirror neurons. And mirror neurons are the reason why if someone yawns, you yawn too. Mirror neurons are the reason why if you smile at a baby, they typically smile back. Or other people too, to be honest with you. Think about it. If somebody smiles at you, you tend to smile back. Even if you try and catch it and stop it, you smile back. That's your first instinct. Mirror neurons are why if you're trying to get a baby to open its mouth so you can feed it, you open your mouth. And the baby opens their mouth and then you put the food in. This is how we learn. Children up to the age of 7 are basically just in hypnosis. They just sponges. It's just all getting in. Nothing is being filtered. They don't have filters yet. So they just learning. So y'all was born with the internet. Y'all was born with the verbiage and the language of the internet, and not just the internet and the World Wide Web, but apps and social media and all other social gaming, online worlds. Y'all were, Sims. Y'all were simulations. Y'all were born into this. But y'all still believe that y'all gotta go to school, get a good education, go to college so you can get a good job, so you can pay for the school that you got this education at. And when you come out with this old ass, calcified, outdated information. You were born in the information age. Things change literally minute by minute. You cannot use a 4-year degree without having some really new and valid experience to go along with it. And a lot of times, college, newer companies, those disruptive companies, they kind of disqualifying people. They kind of turning their noses up at people who have degrees nowadays because they don't want to have to unscrew all of the stuff that got screwed in your brain so that they can teach you what they need you to do at their job. So I'm just saying, you take that how you want to take it. I'm just saying, if I told my son that if he called me and said that my 8-year-old grandbaby had dropped out of school, I would celebrate. I would not be mad at that. I would be so happy for my son to say, or my daughter to say, you know, I've decided to homeschool my children. I am going to teach them what it is that I believe they should know and what they need to know in order to survive in this world. Think about it. There are people who have matriculated through 12 years of grade school, right? So kindergarten plus 12 years of grade school, 4 years of postgraduate studies, post-high school graduate studies, and some who have even gone on to post-college graduate studies, right? They're getting the higher degrees, the masters, the PhDs, etc. And they don't know how to balance a checkbook. They don't know that if you want to make potato salad, you don't crack the eggs to boil them. They don't know what life is. They don't know how to live. And when things go south, they kind of fold like a deck of cards. And then y'all talk about them. Y'all talk about how soft this generation is. Y'all talk about how entitled this generation is. Y'all talk about how selfish this generation is, how they lack empathy and sympathy, how they're so just disconnected and so different. But it's all y'all fault. Because y'all teach them this bullshit. They do what you tell them to do. Then you get mad with them for expecting to get what they're supposed to get. And then when they don't get it, they get mad. You mad with them for being mad. Come on. At some point, we got to wake up. Oh, Lord, I did it. I have done it again, but that's okay. I'm finna fix it right now because this is where what's supposed to be happening is I'm supposed to be talking to you about these Bible verses. So let's get into these Bible verses. I'm not using all of them. I got the same ones from last week. I'm not using all of them. What I am doing, though, or what I have done, I should say, it is sad, DeMarquise. It is sad because people don't want to be the blame. And a lot of people don't want to take responsibility, but there is blame and responsibility enough to go around. Trust me when I tell you. So anyway, remember last week I told you I had to stop. I had so many scriptures. I shared them with y'all last week. I'm not doing that again this week. Go back and look at last week's. I posted them in the comments, so you ain't got to watch the whole video, but they're in the comments. I posted all of the scriptures that I was using just last week. I haven't even gone to get any new scriptures for this week because I'm like, shoot, I got a ton of scriptures from last week that I could just keep going. We can keep going until we get through this whole list. So the ones I'm going to talk about today, remember that all of the scriptures that I'm reading or referencing come from the New American Standard Bible, unless I say otherwise. The only other one that I've been using thus far is the Good News Bible, and I only use that really for I think 2 verses, one for this message. All right, so Proverbs 22:17. We talked about that earlier today. Incline your ear. Thank you, Mr. Calvin, for my birthday wish. I appreciate it. Incline your ear and hear the words of the wise and apply your mind to my knowledge. That's just talking about being open to hearing new information and being prepared to apply new information. You know, here in this country and in this culture, we say that knowledge is power. That's what they told us. That's what we was raised on. If you are in my generation, you were raised believing that knowledge is power. I submit, and I think all of us have come to understand that it's applied knowledge that's power. And that one word does make a difference. It makes a huge difference. You can have all the knowledge in the world. If you don't apply it, it's not going to do you any good. Our guiding principle here, here at the Manifest Destiny Sunday show, is that Ecclesiastes 10 and 19. Money is the answer to all things. Men prepare a meal for enjoyment. Wine makes life merry, and money is the answer to everything. That's in the New American Standard Version of the Bible. But I'm gonna tell you, you read it in the King James Version and some of the other versions, and it pretty much says the exact same thing, because it all says money answers all things. And that is, remember now, the one who said this, the inspiration for this is God. Okay? The only thing discussed in the Bible more than money is God. So if God said it, what you say, God said it, that settles it. That's what God said. Now let's talk a little bit about from the Good News Bible. Let's talk about this from the Good News Bible. This is like my favorite scripture in the last year. Since I learned about this scripture, actually, yeah, in the last year. I didn't know. Now, I read the Bible several times, cover to cover. I have read the Bible. I had not read the whole Good News Bible. The Good News Bible, I believe, is the one, if I'm not mistaken, the Good News Bible is the one that is used mostly by Catholics. And I actually owned a Good News Bible with apocryphal books in it, meaning a lot of the books that had been removed from the Bible included. And I was reading that because I wanted to know the apocryphal stories. So I was reading that Bible more for the apocryphal stories than and the apocryphal teachings more than to verify the word. For my Bible study, I was using King James, New Living Translation, and NIV, along with my concordance and a regular old American dictionary. So and my concordance was a Strong's Concordance, or I would be on blueletterbible.org. So when I was studying, I would have all my Bibles. So I would have my parallel Bible, and I would have my reference books. And, I was reading and studying like that. Well, somebody put me up on this Good News Bible for Ecclesiastes 11:1 and 2. And this is what it says. This is what God said. Because Ecclesiastes, remember, is out of the Old Testament. This is an Old Testament scripture. Doesn't mean that it is old as in obsolete. Old Testament means that part has been fulfilled. That's the original covenant. That was before Christ came and said, I give you this new covenant. I fulfilled the law. Woo, glory! That just made me tingle a little bit. He said he fulfilled this law right here, y'all. Yeah. Hold on, I got to get myself back together. Christ fulfilled this law. Invest your money in foreign trade, and one of these days you will make a profit. Put your investments in several places, many places even, because you never know what kind of bad luck you're going to have in this world. Can we just shout? Can we just shout a little bit? I don't want to be screaming and hollering in here. I probably should, but I'm telling you, I'm full right this second, because that's a big deal. The reason that is such a big deal to me is that I got so much revelation. I've been living this. So a few years ago, I learned about investing in the foreign exchange market. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know even what it meant. So I did nothing with the information. And God brought that thing back around again. And I still wasn't quite sure, but I did get involved. And then after I got involved, because, faith without works is dead. After I got involved, then I got this word that said, you're doing the right thing, daughter. That's how that felt to me. Woo, I'm feeling like right now in my solar plexus, I can feel that. That's what that meant to me. You're doing the right thing. We just had a conversation a few minutes ago about the fact that in 2008, a whole people group lost nearly 95% of their wealth because they were investing in only two places, their houses and their 401ks. The Bible, though, says put your investments in several places, many places even, because you never know what kind of bad luck you're going to have in this world. Do you understand how majorly big that is? The God, remember, omnipotent, all-powerful, omniscient, all-knowing, omnipresent, here, everywhere, all the time, said, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen in this world. He did. But you don't know what's going to happen. So put your money in King James and some of the other versions. It says, put your money in 7 places, maybe even 8, because you never know what bad luck you're going to have in this world. What calamity has to strike this whole entire planet for all 8 of the places that you put your money in to plummet? 2 is easy. The housing market and 401k. It happened already. It happened already. So I'm just gonna go in here and I'm gonna remind y'all that the topic of conversation today is what God has to say about money. He's not talking about the sweet by and by. Oh, Nicole says, wow, that's amazing. Things you learn when you open your eyes and become receptive. Yes, it's the truth, sis. It's the truth. It's the truth. I'm telling you, I'm so moved right now. I'm stirred all up. I'm having a hard time, getting through this because so my spiritual background is actually is Catholic. My first real awareness and learning was I went to Catholic school from 1st grade through 5th grade. So those formative years, I was going to mass every Friday. I was learning through the Catholic system. We didn't use the Bible. I used to actually get in trouble. I'm gonna tell y'all a funny little story, and then I'm gonna wrap this up because I'm down to my last 10 minutes. I was precocious. I was reading already at 3 years old. And my favorite book to read back then, for reasons I do not understand today, I'm just thankful for, was the Bible. And not just the Bible, but the King James version of the Bible. I would actually get in trouble because instead of doing my schoolwork, I would be reading the Bible. I would be sitting in class, sucking my thumb, reading the Bible. The stories were like living on the page for me. I understood what I was reading and I was absorbing. Remember, that's another revelation, and I just got it. I just caught that. Because even I said it, but I didn't realize that's what was going on. That's why this word is in me. You can't take me out with this. You have to find another way. You can't take me out with the Bible. You can't. And that's also why when I learn about, some of the origins and some of the ways that the Bible has been used, I ain't feeling no kind of way. I'm not defensive about it because I know what's in me. I know what's working in me. I know what's living in me already. So I'm okay. I'm okay with cussing. I'm okay with drinking. I'm okay with whatever anybody want to do, because the Bible says if a thing is sin to you, then it is sin. But if it's not sin to you, then it's not. What is that telling you? But that's another conversation. We ain't gonna talk about how much God you actually are. But that's actually in the Bible. If it's sin to you, then it's sin. That's why you can't judge people, because you don't know what's sin for them. You can't make your sin be their sin. And that is also why so many people join and leave the church. This is also why so many people leave the church and they're hurt when they leave. That's also why that happens. So anyway, we can't do that today. We can't do that. I'm going to say that for another time. Whoo, honey. But yeah, that the Bible, omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient God said, put your money in a lot of places, because you never know what bad luck is going to come into this world. You have to actually be strategic. When if you've been following me, if you follow me now, greetings, Jamie. Thank you, love. If you with me at all, then you know what we're doing. You know what we're doing over in the money school. You know what we're doing here every Sunday on Manifest Destiny. And one Sunday I'm gonna do a whole show just on the name of this show. I'm gonna tell y'all why God gave me the Manifest Destiny title for this show. It's your destiny. It's your God-given right to have money and everything else that you are needing in this world. And not just that, you already have it. You just won't access it. And you won't access it because you've been taught away from it. You've been taught to be mediocre and not the superhuman that you are. We are not humans having spiritual experiences. We are spirits walking around, navigating earth in these earth cars. That's what this body is. It's just a vehicle just to get you from point A to point B. All right. One more scripture. Okay. Two more scriptures. And then we're going to move on. The next scripture is the rich rule over the poor and the borrower Borrower becomes the lender's slave. The borrower is the lender, is the slave to the lender. Everybody know that. And whatever you're doing, mirror neurons, your children are going to do it too. Even if you become an adult and you learn better and you go back and you try and teach your children, they got to first unlearn all the stuff you taught them before. You know how shocked my children were when I started saying things to them like, listen, all that shit I taught y'all before, it was wrong. It's bullshit. Forget it. Let it go. It's wrong. Just all of it. Let it go. They laughed. I got different reactions from them at different times. They laughed. At one point, one of my sons seemed a little bit angry. My other son was looking at me like, yeah, all right, shawty. they was just like, wait, what? Because again, your parents shape your worldview when you're very young. So to turn around now and say, without warning, I got some knowledge and understanding. And I went back to my kids and said, children, listen, all that stuff that I told you before, that was wrong. It was wrong. Forget it. Let it go. It's a whole new set of teaching. And they all like, but no, this is what you taught me. My mommy taught me this. This is what you taught me. So this is what it is. And I'm like, no, it's wrong. Let it go. Don't worry about it. I'm going to teach you something else. So I'm still waiting on them to join me. Waiting on them to come on over to the dark side with their mama. They working on it. They're working on it. They're seeing some things. They're recognizing some things, but they were not fans of that whole start over. They was like, what? I'm not doing that, lady. You leave me alone. So I have to offer it to my grandchildren. I have to remind, especially them little ones. I get in their ear. That's why I be begging to talk to them so much, because I want to tell them. I want them to get it in their soul. I want who they are to be. I want them always to remember who they are. I want to be a constant reminder in their spirit of who they are. I want them to have a voice to counteract and counter any voices that tells them that they're not abundant, that they're not enough, that they're not, all of the nots. I want a voice that counters that in their souls, working. So I'm working on it, y'all. Y'all pray a sister strength. I'm working on it. So speaking of grandchildren, the other scripture, Proverbs 30. So that was Proverbs 22:7. The rich rule over the poor and the borrower becomes the lender's slave. Remember, this is what God got to say about money. Proverbs 13:22, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. It's a lot of people who have stolen your wealth, and you can get it back. And it happens it will happen in ways. All you have to do is be open to receive. It will happen in ways that you can't even imagine. You can't even come up with. You have no idea where your place on the chessboard is, because you don't have a God's eye view. All you can see is what's in front of you and what's around you. You got a 360 degree view of what's happening in any direction, right? 360 degrees, but that's only 3 dimensions. You can't see what's going on in the spirit, not with your natural eyes. You got to work on that. You got to open your eye if you want to see what's going on in that dimension. You can't see what's going on in higher dimensions. You can't see your light body. You can't see your spirit. So you have to do some work if you want to get there. And that work ain't easy. That it's easier for you to change your lifestyle and eat better and exercise and get fresh air. It's easier to do that and get to a healthy weight and size and reshape your body. It is easier to do that than it is to get to that what's inside of you. It's easier. You know how they said we are all the way out in Jupiter. We got cameras, satellites that have traveled as far as Jupiter. You know how many light years away Jupiter is? You know how long it takes for a camera to get from Earth to Jupiter? We've done more exploration in space than we have of the ocean here on this Earth. We don't really know what the core of this Earth looks like. We have no idea. Scientists make assumptions about what the core of the Earth is like, but they really don't know. Can't get there. Ain't been able to create anything that can drill deep enough to actually get to the core of the Earth. The same is true with these bodies that we walk around in. These same vehicles that we walk around in, we don't know how to plumb the depths of these bodies and get past all this dense mundane stuff so we can see you and bring back in our memories, live in our memories, our recollection, who we are, what we are, how we supposed to be on this earth, in this earth. So anyway, see, I done did it again. I'm gonna go over a little bit because I got to give you these other two too. I can't just skip these. This is credit. Come on, man. I can't skip. The Bible got something to say about credit. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that the Bible has a word for you about credit? So Proverbs 22:6 says, do not be among those who give pledges, among those who become guarantors for our debts. Don't do that. Don't co-sign for people. Don't do that. Don't co-sign for anybody, not even your children. Not even your children. Poor credit, a low credit score or a poor credit rating are all products of poor money management. It is all because, greetings, Candace. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It is all a function of people not knowing who they are, not knowing their own wealth and abundance, and not being good stewards of what they have. That is I hate saying bad credit because it's an oxymoron. It's like saying a hot cold or cold hot. It's an oxymoron. Credit is a positive. But if you have a low credit score or poor credit rating or a poor credit grade, it is because you're not handling your money well. It really is that simple. Now, I recognize, and we have conversations about this all the time, you didn't ask nobody to keep record of what you are or are not doing. But if you participating in this thing that we call society around here, it's people that do that. That's their job. Their job is to make sure that, or to collect data about you, and then they sell it for a profit. For them, not for you. It's not for your benefit at all. Okay? So, we talk about that, but God says, don't be a co-signer. You know what you can do for your children? That's far better than co-signing for them, and both of y'all end up jacked up. As your children are growing, get your credit together, especially if you got young children. If you have children who are in elementary school, grade school, any grade school, even if they're in college right now, and you want to help your children so that when they get out into the world and they're out living their lives, if you really want to help them, get your credit together. Get you at least one, preferably at least two accounts that you know you're not going to mess with. If you don't have a yard, get you a lawnmower credit account. I don't know what you're not going to use. You know what I'm saying? But get you some credit with somebody that you will not use so that those accounts can mature and age, and you can have good trade lines on your credit report that you can also add your children onto as authorized users. You never have to give them the card. They don't even have to know. Oh, Candace, I'm glad you asked that question. They don't even have to know that they're on your account. They don't even have to know. You're going to build their credit in that way. They're going to get if they have no credit right now and you do something like that, their credit will be better than yours. That don't mean you get to use it. You are not going and buying stuff in their name. You're setting them up so that when they get out into the world and they need to get a house or an apartment and a car and all this other stuff, they will be in position to do those things without you having to co-sign for them. Okay? Without you having a cosign, you're going to get better interest rates anyway. If you're using credit that is rated highly or has a high credit score, you're going to get a better interest rate than one where you got to go get somebody to cosign. So you're going to pay less money at the end of the day. To answer Candace's question, Candace says, what do you suggest if one is living paycheck to paycheck? This is not going to sound good. It might not sound good to you. But I'm telling you, this is what I have done for myself. This is how I was able to go from a woman on her knees begging God to restore my good name to sitting here having these conversations with you. I had to be really, really honest with myself. In fact, when I do my workshops, there is a worksheet that I do. And I have seen grown men cry in doing this worksheet. But basically, I do needs and wants. You have to be really honest with yourself about where you're already spending your money. And then you have to categorize those things as whether they are needs or wants. And then you have to decide, of these things that are needs and wants, which of them can I release? And you start putting money back into the pot. Now, once you kind of, to me, that's just the first step. That's not the overall thing. There is also another strategy that I learned from Dr. Don called the sevens. When you take your money and you are very deliberate with your money and tell your money where to go, and you take control, like you calling up your debt collectors, creditors, and whoever else is providing service for you and saying, listen, I know that I normally pay on this day, but I'm gonna have to change that date. Or listen, I know that you asked for this amount, but this is what I'm gonna have to pay. Especially if it's somebody that does not hit your credit report, you take control of your money and you tell your finances where they go. Candace, if you shoot me an inbox, we can have more conversation about this, sis, because like I said, this is actually a service that I have provided. And this part is, if you join the money school, this is one of the things that you will learn just being in the money school. But and that goes for anybody. And I'm gonna go ahead and get to my announcements now. Okay, you're welcome, honey. I really would like to speak with you more about that. I really would like, because I sound like I'm being cagey, because I am, because that part of my presentation is like 2 hours long. And if I start talking about that, it's going to be real hard for me to move on to the next thing and not, get all off into that. I would like to stay as focused as I can. I'm already over time. I'm already 5 minutes over time. But this is what I want to do. At this point, I want to give the announcements, right? I want to talk about what it is that we're doing, what solutions we can offer. Like that question, oh, well, it's coming. That's in the announcement, DeMarquise. I'm about to go into that right now. What DeMarquise is talking about, the credit classes, I'm going to talk to you about that. So in my announcements, this is what I have. So first of all, I want y'all to tune in every Sunday at 11 o'clock for Moneyfest Destiny Sundays. That's this show right here. Make sure you come and you join. There is a replay at 6 p.m. tonight. Every Sunday is a replay. And then there's a replay again on Thursdays at 12. Okay. For this show. Tuesday, January 1st, 2019. I am super excited to announce that Bag Lady Radio is revived. So it's a new show. She's called Bag Lady Revived. She will premiere this Tuesday, January 1st. I know that's New Year's Day. You got to be back to work on Tuesday anyway, so you're going to be home at 6 o'clock. Don't you worry about it. You're going to be home at 6. So right here on this same channel, wherever you're watching me at, you will see Bag Lady Revived this Tuesday at 6 p.m. and every Tuesday after that. There will also be a replay of the Bag Lady Radio show at 9 p.m. on Tuesday, and again at 12 on Friday, lunchtime. I always do replays at lunchtime during the week because I think that what we're teaching is such a big deal, huge deal. The information that we're sharing, I think, is valuable, and people want to see it. I think people need to see it. I think y'all should be sharing and inviting your friends and family. Your adult children, your not yet adult children, you should at least have it on so they can hear it as you're getting ready or whatever. If you want to learn how you can get your hot little hands on up to $150,000 in business credit, I am teaching a class. Yay! So this class is called Financial Self-Defense, and the first class begins on January 19th, 2019. So here's what happens. If you're already credit worthy and you want to use your own credit as a personal guarantee, then I'll walk you through the steps to qualify and begin the process of receiving your business lines of credit of up to $150,000. If you're not quite credit worthy or you don't want to use your existing credit to qualify, then I'll walk you through how to build a new credit profile so you can get through this process, qualify, and begin the process of receiving your business lines of credit up to $150,000. If you're not quite credit worthy, and you don't mind using your own personal credit to qualify, then I'll walk you through the steps to rebuilding so that you can qualify and begin the process of receiving your business lines of credit up to $150,000. And you will be, at the end of this class, a certified, yes, I said certified, I'm giving out certificates, financial self-defense credit coach once you complete the course. So if you want more details about that, go ahead and inbox me. Now listen, y'all, this is all over my page, all over my wall. I keep saying inbox me, inbox me. Follow instructions, please. That's like the very first instruction. If you're interested in doing this, that is the very first instruction. Just follow it. That's the only way that what I'm teaching you is going to work for you, is if you are able to follow the instructions that I give you. So follow the instructions. Inbox me, inbox me. Like I said, class begins on January 19th. There will be no more than 10 students. Once I have 10 students, and I have people already signed up. So once I reach 10 students, I have to cut it off, because I don't think I could be as effective as I want to be with more than 10 people. The class is 5 weeks long. We meet 2 times a week. And, you can get all that detail from me once you hit me up. All right. So inbox me and I'll give you the details. Now, the other thing that I want you to pay attention to is January 31st. Put this on your calendar. And you can close your eyes and pick a time. Just make sure it's on January 31st. We are launching. We're doing a super launch telethon. Yes, yes, yes. We are doing a super launch telethon for a brand new suite of premium products that we're putting out on the market. You definitely want to be tuned in. That is a Thursday. It's going to be going on all day from morning till night. And actually, it's probably going to carry on until that Sunday, because the 31st is a Thursday. So we're going to be making a big stinking deal about it. And we want you to take advantage of it. We want you to take advantage of that. Want y'all to join the money school. That's a big deal, man. Come on. The link should be somewhere. DeMarquise, if you're there, could you please type the link to the money school, www.facebook.com/groups/the money school, the money school. Join the money school. Listen, if you want the real truth about what money is and how it works, if you want to learn about personal credit and business credit, if you want to learn about trading in the Forex market, then all of that, you want to join the money school. Now, if you want to trade in the Forex market, I recruit for a school that teaches you how to trade in the foreign exchange market. If you don't know what that is, then let me tell you that the foreign exchange market, or the Forex market for short, is the market. It is the money market. It is literally only money, and it is the place where people go to buy and sell money. And we make money off of people buying and selling money. So the school teaches you how to do that. And you want to sign up with me, I'll give you my link. DeMarquise is somebody that's in. You can sign up with him. You can sign up with Gerald. I think he's still on. I think Shayelle is still on. It's so many of us who are together, and we move like that, y'all. We move like that. That's another thing. We have a community. The Money School is a community of people who are learning and or teaching about how money really works. So join the Money School. You definitely want to do that. Share, like, comment on all the links that I share. If I put something up, click it, like it, share it. Do all of that. If you want to get started on something, if you need a point of clarity on something, any of those things, inbox me. Definitely inbox me to learn more about the school, the class. I'm sorry, not the school, the class. Definitely inbox me about that. Other than that, I want y'all to follow me on Twitter, Periscope, and IG. I'm at Gift to Broadcast and Celebrity Mary. And like my Facebook page, I am Mary Ellis Golden Hearts Holdings. I'm going to copy all of that, and I'm going to put it in the chat so that y'all can find it, because I want y'all to do all this stuff that I'm telling you to do. All right, so here, these are all the ways that you can follow me, all the places where you can follow me at. And here is the links that I was just telling you about. So this is the Money School. And y'all can tell I'm about to wrap it up, right? Don't hang up yet, though. I got one more thing to tell you. So don't hang up yet. And trading in the Forex market. These are my links. Click the links, like the links, put your name on something, share your email with me. Tell me how to get in touch with you. Let's do all of that. Okay. So here's the thing that I want to tell y'all. I love you, and there is nothing you can do about it. Make sure that you join me again next Sunday at the same time on the same channel for Manifest Destiny Sundays. It's always going to be a different kind of Bible study. We're going to always be talking about what God has to say about money. I love you guys. Mean it. Bye-bye.